Hello everyone, this is Srinivas from Informatica GCS and my today's topic is creating an Erwin resource for Metadata Manager. The product version is Metadata Manager 9.6.1. Metadata Manager is a web-based application used to manage metadata in repository warehouse. Metadata Manager is used to browse and analyze metadata from various sources and the relationships between them. Resources are created and metadata is loaded from them. We can load metadata from various applications, business intelligence sources, data integration sources, data modeling sources, and various relational database sources. In this KB, we would discuss about steps to load an Erwin in Metadata Manager, type of sources in Erwin resource load, objects loaded in Erwin resource load. So, the first prerequisite for loading an Erwin resource in Metadata Manager is the license option for Erwin ER Studio in the Metadata Exchange option for the license you are using for the service. You would also need an agent to be installed and configured inside the network. In case you are connecting to the Erwin data modeler and loading the warehouse, then you would have to install the Erwin clients in the same location where the agent is installed. Steps in the Erwin resource load can be divided majorly into three steps. First one is the agent task, where Metadata Manager agent or the agent would connect to the Erwin data source, read the metadata, and then save them as XML files in the info home location. The second task would be XMI parsing. In this task, the metadata service or the service would parse the XML files which is created by the agent task in step number 1 and then would convert them into .csv files. The third step is the ETL task, which would read the .csv files and these files would be loaded into warehouse tables. There are two types of source system versions from which you can load Erwin metadata into Metadata Manager. Number 1 is via the source file. Number 2 is directly connecting to the Erwin data modeler repository and reading the metadata. Now, let's go and log into the UI and then start working on creating a metadata Erwin resource in Metadata Manager. You can find the Erwin XConnect under the Data Modeling tab. Select the Erwin XConnect, click on Next. Provide the Erwin resource name. Description if required. Click on Next. Now, this the option first which you see is the agent URL. So, agent URL is the URL of the Metadata Manager agent which we configure to extract data from the Erwin data source. Hostname is the name of the machine where the agent is configured, and port is the port number where the agent is configured. In Erwin, you can load from directly from a source file, or you can load a single model from directly connecting to the Erwin data model mart. So let us first let's check the details related to loading an Erwin resource from the source file. So import UDPs. So here you would get an option to import the user-defined properties of Erwin. So the available options are as metadata migrate default values. In description, migrate default values. Both migrate default values. You can select the import UDPs option based on your requirement. You can always keep the cursor on the particular option, or you can click on the question mark button below to get more details on the objects or the parameters which you need to pass. So this import relationship name specifies how to import the relationship names from Erwin. The import column order specifies the position of the columns in tables. The import owner schemas. So if you select this option, it will import the owner schema for the table, and true is the default value. Import diagrams will specify if the diagrams should be imported or not. Move entities to subject area. So if you set this to default value is false, if you set this to true, then the Erwin entities will be assigned multiple subject areas. If it is false, the Erwin entities would be assigned to only one single area, a subject area. Now, so this here you have to click on select and upload the .xml file which you are uploading. So you can ask your Erwin admin to export the Erwin data model, and the model which you want to load can be exported in an XML repository format from the Erwin client, and then it can be provided as a source. In this, you can click on select, choose the file, and upload the Erwin file. So this is the first way to load a Erwin resource from a source file. The second step would be to load the Erwin resource from a single model from a mart. So here the server name is the name of the server where the Erwin is configured, or the Erwin server is installed. The server port is the port number where the Erwin is configured. Then you will get multiple options, like if you want to use a Microsoft IaaS web server, or you want to use SSL authentication. Then you will get an option to specify the name of the applications you want to connect on the Erwin server. And for authentication, you have two options. One is the server authentication or the Windows authentication. If you provide server authentication, you have to provide the username and password, whereas Windows authentication would by default take the Windows username and password. Model. So you can see the string by which you have the string by which you have to provide the model name. So Erwin would connect to this eMovies sample mart, and then it would load from that particular model. The other options we see here are same as the one which we have discussed previously. Then you also have an option to auto assign connections, where Erwin would automatically assign connections to the database schemas which are already loaded in the particular warehouse. So I have already loaded an Erwin resource, so which we can verify. You would also have an option to upload the linking rules, to schedule the Erwin resource, and also to assign the connections to particular database schemas. So you can select the connection, Erwin connection, and a particular database schema, click on assign and click OK. So I would just browse you through the Erwin data model which has been loaded in warehouse. So we can see that Erwin resource has been loaded with the name Erwin9 ORA mart. So this Erwin data model is configured on an Oracle database. We can see a sample model, a logical and a physical model, Erwin model, which has been loaded. We can see that various schemas the schemas which are loaded as a part of those resource. We can see the stored procedures which are loaded as a part of this resource. Click on the stored procedure to view the stored procedure code. We can also see the various views which are loaded from the Erwin data model and also the table entities. So this is it regarding the Erwin data Erwin load. For further queries, you can refer the Metadata Manager Administrative Guide. We would love to hear from you. You can anytime drop a mail with regard to your queries, concerns, feedbacks, or any topic you would like us to create video KBs on. You can also follow us on Twitter and tweet us there. Thank you. Have a great day.